Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Okay, my name is Christina Tonaway, and I'm with the UC Berkeley Californians. Before our program begins, I would like to draw your attention to some general rules of civility. We stand on the birthplace of free speech, and we hope that you will honor that tradition by allowing all audience members to fully engage at this time. Kindly please allow our speakers and your fellow audience members to enjoy today's program without interruptions. Please turn off your cellular phones. Please refrain from blocking anyone's view with banners and signs. And please do not shout or engage in any action that disrupts the event or that prevents the speakers from being heard. Individuals involved in such actions may be asked to leave and may face police intervention and student conduct sanctions. Our program will now begin.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Graduates and families, Secretary Mineta, honored guests, good afternoon and welcome to the University of California, Berkeley. My name is Robert Bergeneau, and it's my great privilege to serve Berkeley as Professor of Physics and of Material Science and Engineering, and as its 9th Chancellor. As Chancellor, I have the great honor and pleasure of welcoming and congratulating our newest graduates and their families. Graduates, you embody great talent and promise, and now you have the distinction of holding a Berkeley degree. You renew the proud line of alumni whose education and life are forever entwined with Berkeley. Congratulations, class of December 2009. Convocation honors our past, celebrates the excitement of the present, and looks to the promise of the future. Graduates, today you will experience the same joy, the same sense of personal accomplishment as the many hundreds of thousands of graduates who have preceded you throughout Cal's long history. Families, partners, children, and friends have stood by you with their understanding and support. Each family here today has traveled a distinctive path to arrive at today's graduation, and this convocation holds special significance for all of you. Class of 2009, please join me in showing our appreciation to your families and supporters by giving them a very warm round of applause. Graduates, this is your special time. a major milestone in each of your lives. Convocation recognizes and celebrates your accomplishments. You will receive a significant reward for all your toil and perseverance, a university degree, but frankly, not just any university degree, a University of California, Berkeley degree. Berkeley has given you an outstanding education that only an internationally distinguished and preeminent public research and teaching university can offer. You have been taught by leading scholars who bring to the classroom a depth of understanding and a real passion for their subject that you could not experience otherwise. You have participated in knowledge being transformed by investigation and discovery, and have contributed to the excitement and wonder of that process. Many of you want to contribute to a better world. At Berkeley, you have had the opportunity to take part in learning that is addressing pressing global problems, deepening our understanding of the human condition, and strengthening our mission to serve the societal good. In your time at Cal, you witnessed, and many of you participated in, I often saw you outside of Cal Hall, the Berkeley tradition of free speech and peaceful protest. You learned that among the core principles of community at Berkeley is the following. We affirm the dignity of all individuals and strive to uphold a just community in which discrimination and hate are not tolerated. I want to tell you, you have no more powerful example of the triumph of human dignity over intolerance and of the moral necessity to address racism than in the group of individuals with whom you are privileged to share this day. They are more than 100 strong, a fraction of the 500 students whose Berkeley education was interrupted in 1942 by the executive order that forcibly relocated over 120,000 persons of Japanese ancestry on the West Coast to internment camps during World War II. In July, the University of California Board of Regents voted to suspend its 37-year moratorium on honorary degrees and thereby address a historical injustice. Present today to receive their degrees are 42 former Berkeley students. Another 78 were unable to attend or have since passed away and are represented by their families, I believe are over here. We honor these graduates and their families, but frankly, they honor us with their presence and dignity. I'd like to quote from the testimony of one of those being honored, the late Dr. Nobuyuki Kawada, whose family is here today to represent him. In an interview with his granddaughter, Marisa, who's also a Cal alumna, Dr. Kawada acknowledged that Berkeley did all it could to place him in universities outside the West Coast so that he could evade the executive order and continue his studies. Fortunately, the American Friends Service Committee helped him get placed at Washington University in St. Louis so that he could continue his studies. He told his granddaughter, "It was the government which was the enemy. The educational system supported us. despite knowing that society and the United States government greatly wanted us out of California. While it is reassuring to know that there were those who sought to minimize the harm, it does not deny the injustice. I know that today's actions are a small but vital step toward forgiveness and affirming the humanity of all of us. We thank these graduates for their perseverance, integrity, and indomitable spirit. You are an exemplar to us all, and we are proud to call you Golden Bears. In joining with the class of 2009, you have made this a most memorable and moving convocation, one that will always be remembered by everyone present here today. To all our Cal graduates who are convocating today, as you go forward, know that we will be there with you as you join our family of over 450,000 alumni, and we are very proud of all of you. I hope that in the years to come, you will remember the excellent education that you received at Berkeley, and that it will serve you and society well in the years to come. May your lives be richly rewarding and fulfilling. Congratulations and good luck, class of 2009. Go Bears! I would now like to call to the podium the class of 2009 speaker, West Hayes.
I wanted to say something that had never been said. I'm an English major, so I dug deep for something beautiful. And I think I found it, although I had to borrow it from some friends. Si se puede. It can be done. I learned that chant this semester during a protest against UC cutbacks. Police officers surrounded Wheeler Hall to maintain their perimeter, and they were terrified. Thousands of students were holding their line for the university they love. We were terrified. Dozens of officers were holding batons and cans of pepper spray. We looked the officers in the eye, and then we said our chant. It went like this. You're sexy, you're cute, take off that riot suit. And it might be coincidence, but there were no further incidents after that chant. When the janitors union joined us, our chant changed. Si se puede. It can be done. This is what graduates right now know better than anyone else. That yes, it can be done. Today's honorary graduates are living proof. Honorees, your presence here demonstrates a kindness and forgiveness that few people are capable of. It was Attorney General Earl Warren, Berkeley graduate of 1912, who gave the order back in 1942. I am ashamed of the mistakes made by my state and by that graduate of this institution nearly 70 years ago, and I am more than honored to share this stage with you today. Let me hear it, 2009. The rest of you graduating seniors, like me, are inheriting a mess. Don't give me that look, dads and moms. You're the first generation to change the climate. You're the last generation to escape its consequences. But we're still cool. You've been preparing us for these challenges since the day we were born. Greenhouse gases, drought, Saddam Hussein, parts 1 and 2, communism, fundamentalism, asteroids, killer bees, bird flu, swine flu, and snakes on a plane. We are not afraid of a sagging economy. Moms and dads, it is your children's turn to fix this mess. Faces like ours will be scowling in your offices, and we're going to pester you about more than just recycling. We will challenge everything. This is how you have raised us. Fellow graduates, challenging our leaders will be painful and brutally awkward. I have a demonstration. Chancellor Bergeneau. No one can doubt the immense good you've done for this university. He deserves that. But remember that if you don't challenge the system now, that in 70 years' time, someone may issue honorary degrees for the challenges you did not meet. Apologies may have to be given for mistakes made on our watch. California universities are in crisis, but I truly believe you can save them. I believe your leaders have failed you, and I believe you must tell them, and it will be painful and brutally awkward. But it can be done. Sí se puede. And if you need help, there are 4,000 men and women in this stadium right now who will fight with you because we bleed blue and gold. Let me hear it right here. Class of 2009, if I weren't one of you, I would be incredibly jealous right now. When I applied to college, I mailed only one application and checked only one box. My personal statement was a big game, a reflection of the big games of my childhood. Since I've been here, since many of you have been here, we've won 5 in the last 4.5, or rather 4 in the last 4.5 years. That's why we stayed behind. Don't let them tell you different. I'll wrap this up by repeating what we already know. We are not afraid of the challenges. We are not afraid of the job market. And we are not afraid to say what needs to be said. Today, you graduate from the finest public university on the planet. Congratulations, UC Berkeley class of 2009. Sí se puede. Thank you. Like I said, I am honored today, especially so to welcome to the podium one of today's distinguished honorees, Chizu Kitano Iyama.
I am so honored, and I enjoyed so much the speech of the student speaker. I thought it brought up so many wonderful ideas and some of the things that I did want to say to you. First of all, I want to give thanks to the university, to the regents of the university, to the staff and people who worked so hard and shepherding us through this. You could see that some of us are pretty old. I'm 88 years old. And and I could still walk. But I would like to say that some of you might ask, why the honorary degree? Why is it that 67 years after the event that we should be honored? Some of you might have thought back in, I think it was 1970, that you gave us a special honor in terms of giving us our diploma. Well, today we find that we have only a few people left. We are missing people who are gone, who have contributed so much, and we are also missing the people who are disabled. I'd also like to say that this honorary degree does not just come to those of us who are UC Berkeley people. It does come to the Japanese American community, who are very, very interested in seeing that we get recognition and that we do fight all together. Further fights on civil rights, further fights on immigration, further fights on all kinds of activities, including what the young people will be facing, especially in terms of global warming, in terms of the financial situation. And I did want to tell you also that one of the reasons why we're here is because there's a Japanese American legislator in the California legislature, Warren Furutani, who had shepherded a resolution and asked for a recognition from California schools, California universities, the state colleges, and the community colleges. It was really a very big push for this kind of celebration. Well, I would like to go into a standard one of our experience at UC Berkeley, because you have a very different university from the time that we went. I went to UC Berkeley way back in 1938, and I was in the class of 42. Well, our fees, first of all, I know you're having financial problems. Our fees at that time, $26 a semester. And we had 2 semesters a year, so it was $52. We also paid $10 for a student money card that got us free into all the games, and I'm not quite sure whether it also included health services. So you could see that we went in, and especially at a time when it was also a terrible depression. Most of us had to work part-time to be able to make it, but it was still available and open. I should also tell you that to get into the university, we had to have a B average in high school. Can you imagine? So that it was available to many people if they were willing to work at it. Let me tell you that at the entrance, at the beginning, my advisor asked me what my educational goals were. And I looked at him very excited, because I said, I want to be a teacher. And he looked back at me, he shook his head, and he said, there are no jobs for Japanese American teachers. We face tremendous amounts of discrimination. And then he brightened up, and he said, how about being a social worker? And so I thought, well, I could be a social worker. I was 16 years old, very naive. I didn't even question. I'm sure today's students would make a big to-do about that, but at that time, we were not, I guess we didn't have the history of questioning authority. And I think it was the civil rights revolution in our United States, led by Afro-Americans, that really made us conscious of what we ought to do, that we can't just sit by. And I see that none of you are sitting by. You're all part of our political life. Well, there was 1941, Pearl Harbor, and we all got together as the Japanese American students. Some of my friends met over at the library, and we figured out what was going to happen. It was a shock, because we always thought about ourselves as Americans, and most of us were fairly young. Of the 120,000 people who ended up in the camps, 2/3 were American citizens. And of that American citizens, the median age was 17. So you could see how naive and how we didn't know how to protest if we thought even of protesting. Well, the removal of the executive order came in 9066, and I do want to say that at that time, the university was very empathetic to us and really tried to help us. They were able to send some of our top students out to universities and colleges outside of the area. The executive order 9066 made it the removal of Japanese Americans, all Japanese Americans from the West Coast. And so, again, there was an opportunity for a few of us to go on, or few people to go on to for their degree. What happened to us as then in camp. And I'm not going to go into the conditions of camp, but you ought to read about that, and to read about the terrible deprivation of civil rights which occurred with our removal. We had no access to lawyers. We were given such a few days in which to leave. We were told we had to leave in 5 days. You could only take what you could carry. And what do you do with your house, your career? We lost everything. And farms, especially the farms. So there was a tremendous loss in terms of personal property. And also, again, it was our parents who had to bear, and our older sisters and brothers who had to bear the brunt of making those decisions about what to do. Well, those of us who were students went into the camps, and again, I'm not going to go into all the problems we had in the camp, but I would like to leave a couple of stories with you about something that happened to me. One of the things that happened is that I was young, but I was 20 years old. The median age was 17. So you could see that, and because we were English speaking, we all took responsibility for putting things together in the camp. Those of you who are graduating, do you know what you would do if you were stuck out there in a camp? You didn't know what was going on. What would you do? I was given opportunity to be in charge of the recreation education of the whole camp. This was at Santa Anita near Los Angeles. What would you do? How would you deal with it? It was a very difficult situation, but we did manage, and we were there for 6 months. One of the things I had to do at that time was to visit the classes that we set up. And so I would go in the morning to make sure that the children were not running around, that there was an opportunity for people who were teaching to come across with lessons. And every morning, as I went by, I would hear the children, first grade, second grade, children singing, giving the Pledge of Allegiance, and then singing, God Bless America. And I knew that this was wrong for us to be in camp, and it was very poignant and difficult. The other story I have is that after the initial camp, we were sent to another camp. And this was our permanent camp, and we were sent to a place called Topaz. It was in Utah. And one of my activities at the National Japanese American Historical Society years later was to take oral history. And one of a Caucasian teacher who had been in camp in Arizona and talked about his most difficult situation in the camp. And he talked about the fact that he was a teacher in the high school junior, I guess it was the grade of junior, the third year of high school. And he was in charge of history, and they were teaching history, American history, including the American Constitution. They were going to take a test, but it was so cold inside the schoolroom that they decided to go outside, build a fire, and take the test. And he said it was so hard to have the children tested on the Bill of Rights when all of their rights were gone. And how do you deal with that? And then as they were taking the test, they all heard the marching of the soldiers outside, who are the people who are guarding us, and they were marching, they're drilling, and he said, just the sound of the soldiers marching, the music, and the kids taking a test on civil liberties was extremely difficult for him. So they were very poignant, and it was a difficult situation for our parents. They were older because we were younger, and we had different roles in the camp that kept us busy and put things together that we didn't really have time to question because things kept going on so much. None of us were prepared for this. Let me tell you that one of the reasons given that we thought was, that we didn't question, was the fact that they wondered about our loyalty to the United States. Most of us had never even been to Japan, and unfortunately, most of us didn't speak or read Japanese either. And so, again, we were called, or possible disloyal, possible saboteurs, and well, the American government, at the time that they put us into camp, had reports from the FBI and from the naval intelligence saying that the American government had nothing to fear from the Japanese population. We learned about this years later. Well, one of the things that happened is that after removal, some of our students, and these were our young men, went into the American Army. They volunteered, and some of them are here. They volunteered into the American Army while they were in camp. And they were fighting for freedom outside, one of the first 4 freedoms outside, but while their families were confined into camp. So you could see the, again, terrible discrepancy that we all kind of wondered what happened. Well, but some of the students did go out. We were finally able to get out because there were some very good people in Berkeley. Again, the Berkeley community put together a fair play committee to make sure that we were treated fairly. They had one of our Cal graduates who should be here, Nobuko, and she was a good friend of mine. And she went out on a student leave because the National Japanese Students Relocation Committee was organized, and there were people throughout the country who worked together to put Japanese American students into camps, into schools far away from the camps. And they, Nobuko and her friends, I think they were in Boston, put together an organization years later in which we gave back to the Asian American students who were refugees, and this was in the 80s. We developed it so that we would give scholarships, and this organization is still very active, and we are giving scholarships, thousands of scholarships out, most of it funded by the Japanese who are American, who were in a way affected by what happened to us. Well, we learned a lot of things. What did we learn? We learned, first of all, the importance of civil rights, of fighting for civil rights. We learned that especially, and we saw it with the student population. Now, we rely very much on the student population to work for a better America, to work for better conditions for people. And you could see that at the University of Berkeley when they had the free speech movement, when they had activities against an American Activities Committee. I mean, you saw that with some of the demonstrations, which we never even thought about when we were in camp, when we were at UC Berkeley. So you see that progress does come with student ideas, students' activities, and students, I would say, their thinking and education. We learned not to accept everything people told us. We learned not to question our authority, to see what is right, what is wrong. We learned to research. We got many Japanese American scholars now who write about the history and the culture and the society. We have people who are in all fields. Again, let me add, what happened? I was just talking with one of the people while I was in line, and they told me that their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, and they had so many of them, were all Cal graduates or going to Cal. And if you ask this group, I think you'll find most of us have children, children, grandchildren. We have 3, I know, relatives of ours in the law schools. And so, again, we are learning a tremendous amount. We've learned how to be political, which is one of the reasons why we have people like Norman Mineta, who became a congressman. We have Japanese American congressmen. We have people in many different political groups. We think that education has been the important part of our lives, and that we have followed through with our education at Cal. Thank you.
Graduates of 2009, honored guests and family, good afternoon. My name is Christina Tonaway, and I'm a second year here at UC Berkeley. It is an honor here today and on behalf to represent the Californians. In particular, I want to thank those who are receiving their honorary degrees today. I appreciate you and your lives. You echo the lives of my own family. My grandparents were affected by the executive order and were forced to leave California during World War II. They played a huge part of my childhood and instilled in me the values that I hold today. I would not be here at Cal today without their example. Congratulations to you and all the graduates today. It is a special honor for me to introduce our keynote speaker today, former United States Secretary of Commerce and Secretary of Transportation, the Honorable Norman Y. Mineta. Secretary Mineta was born in San Jose to Japanese immigrant parents. During World War II, the Mineta family was interned for several years in the Hart Mountain internment camp near Cody, Wyoming. In 1953, Norman Mineta graduated from UC Berkeley with a degree in business administration. Prior to his service in the cabinet, Secretary Mineta served in the U.S. House of Representatives for 20 years, representing the Silicon Valley. Before that, he served as a council member as mayor of San Jose, the first Asian American mayor of a major American city. On Capitol Hill, he was the driving force behind House Resolution 442, the Civil Liberties Act of 1988. This act officially apologized for and redressed the injustices endured by Japanese Americans during World War II. In 1995, George Washington University awarded Secretary Mineta with the Martin Luther King Jr. Commemorative Medal for his contributions to the field of civil rights. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the students of UC Berkeley, it is my greatest privilege and honor to welcome Secretary Norman Mineta.
Christine, thank you very much for your wonderful introduction. It really is a great honor for me to have this opportunity to offer my personal congratulations to all of the 2009 graduates. I love coming back to Berkeley any chance that I get, but I also try to keep it within reason. I know that it's always easier to deliver commencement addresses at times when you know the graduates that you're addressing are heading into a booming economy with opportunities falling all around you like apples falling off the tree. So was that a great Stanford game or wasn't it? All kidding aside, it isn't easy out there these days, and you know that already. No one knows exactly how we're going to come out of this economic crisis. But I can say, and I know that many here will join me in saying this: if anyone is likely to find the way out, it's going to be you. You have worked very hard to get into this great school, and you worked very hard to get to this commencement today. It can be intimidating to face the world in this new way, but rest assured that a lot of us are looking forward to seeing your successes. I wish I could give you a roadmap, but it would be sort of pointless to do that, because if you weren't the kind of people to chart your own course and blaze your own trails, you probably wouldn't be here in the first place. I will say this: stay loose and prepare to be surprised. Watch for those surprises, because when you get to my age, you'll look back and find that the best opportunities that you've had come at you out of nowhere and when you least expect them. Lives can go off track, but they can also be rebuilt and reclaimed. For those of you graduating, if you have any doubts about the scope of the challenges that you are capable of overcoming, I would call your attention to the group of people with whom you have generously agreed to share this event today. They are former students of the University of the California system who had their studies and their lives disrupted by events not of their making and beyond their control. And the injustices that they experienced cannot be undone, but that pain can be lessened. And the message sent by your welcoming them to your graduation today is a simple one, and that is, it is never too late to right a wrong. It is never too late to celebrate, to do the right thing, and you are making that happen. So thank you to all of you for doing the right thing and for allowing me to take part. It has now been 68 years since the forces of the Empire of Japan launched an unprovoked attack on the United States of America. And they attacked our U.S. naval facilities at Pearl Harbor. They attacked our Air Corps facilities at Hickam Field. And they attacked our Army facilities at Schofield Barrack. And with that attack, the United States was drawn into a global conflict. A conflict, and that it would not be unfair to say, was literally a battle of good versus evil. But there were many of us who had reason to worry that our dedication to that cause would be doubted. Because we were Americans, of Japanese ancestry, something that until the last few decades, many Americans would have considered to be a contradiction in terms. And I suspect that everyone here who is old enough to remember that day has a unique recollection of the attack on Pearl Harbor. For me, as an 11-year-old, it will always live in my memory as the first time I ever saw my father cry. He couldn't understand why the land of his birth was now attacking the land of his heart. He had been in America for over 30 years. My mother had been here for more than 20. And they came to this country from Japan in search of a better life for themselves and their children. And they found it. And along the way, they had fallen in love with their adopted country. They loved what it was, and they loved what it might one day grow to be. Never once did he or any of us, including those in this great pavilion today, including those here on the stage, had a single doubt about where our loyalties lay. Unfortunately, that was not something our government or many of our fellow Americans were prepared to understand or believe or even accept. Their reaction is one of the reasons we are here today. People could not make that distinction between those flying the airplanes that attacked our facilities in Hawaii and those who by accident of birth were of Japanese ancestry living in the United States of America. Because like so many Americans of Japanese ancestry on the west coast of the United States, these students had their lives turned upside down and their plans for the future put in danger. Like all Japanese Americans, their loyalty to this country was not just called into question, it was dismissed. The men and women you honor today were doing what we were all told good Americans do. Study hard, work hard, get a college degree, and find a way to make a unique contribution to the life of this great country. But they found their educations disrupted by those who did not trust them simply because of their ancestry. And they were forced out of school to return to their homes starting after February 12, 1942, when Executive Order 9066 was signed. The story of the internment in camps behind barbed wire and military guard towers for the duration of World War II is one that many of you may not know. And what you may not know is how decades of dedicated work by men and women ensured that the lessons of history would not be lost. The journey from 1941 to 2009 has been a long one for our community. We struggled to rebuild our lives after the internment. We struggled to build a new place for ourselves in the American family. But it was to be over 40 years before the government of the United States finally recognized that our forced evacuation and internment for the duration of World War II were wrong, and that there was something, on the other hand, that convinced us not to lose the hope that recognition would happen one day. For every act of injustice that we suffered, we encountered an act of kindness as well. So many of us lost farms and businesses and homes. Some of us returned home to find those homes, farms, and businesses had been protected by friends who refused to forsake us. And even in the camps, we encountered people who volunteered to share our burdens, especially the Quakers who entered the camps as doctors and nurses and teachers, and whose work and dedication we have never forgotten and will never forget. And in the decades that followed, we found friends and allies of every race and gender and religion and sexual orientation who refused to let the injustices that we had suffered pass by without redress. And with their help and their support, we won not only recognition that the internment was wrong, but a national commitment that nothing like it would ever happen again. Today, with your actions here, you have added your names to their number. So to all December graduates, I offer you my congratulations and also my thanks. You have chosen to share this day with a group of Americans whose drive and perseverance in the face of impossible odds have more than earned the degrees that they are receiving today. Thank you for doing everything you can to finally make right, which was wrong. And no one could ask for anything more. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Norm. That was great. It's now time to award the honorary degrees. I invite the families representing former students to please come forward. It is my honor to present you with the honorary degrees that read Honoris Causa Inter Syllabus Academiae Restituere Justitium, which means to restore justice among the groves of the Academy. I'm also pleased to present you with the Chancellor's citation that honors, and I quote, those who were removed from studies at the university by reason of Executive Order 9066, which evacuated, relocated, and interned citizens and permanent resident aliens of Japanese ancestry during World War II. The University of California, Berkeley proudly acknowledges your strength and perseverance in the face of such tremendous adversity. I will now ask Professor Duncan Williams first to read the names of those represented by family, and then the names of the former students who are with us here today.
It is my privilege to read first the names of the honorees who are being represented by family members. Shiro Aoki. Sally Katsuyo Fuji Domoto. Asa Arthur Fujii. William Teruo Fujioka. Soichi Fukui. George T. Furukawa. Yukio Arnold Hibino. Lily Chieko Kawahara Higashi. Tamae Yamagata Hiramatsu. Pierce Hiura. Is it full? And Wilfred Hiura. Kimi Kato Igarashi. Saburo Ikeda. Shizuha Fukuhara Ikeda. Hajime Inoue. Harvey Akio Itano. Setsuo Kenneth Iwata. Ben Jinkawa. Hiroshi Kaku. Takaaki George Kato. Makoto Joseph Kawaguchi. Yoshiaki Kawaoka. Nobuyuki Kawata. Hayato Kihara. Fred Kishi. Kiyome Kato Kitayama. Okay. Robert Kunio Kiyasu. William Sadao Kiyasu. Gojiro Louis Kobayashi. Henry Eiichi Kobayashi. Joe Kubota. Alice Abe Matsumoto. Richard Matsumoto. Hannah Ohashi Miyahara. Joseph Hidenobu Mori. Shigeki Mori. Miki Moriwaki. Cromwell Daisuke Mukai. Kenny Kenji Murase. Alice Kubota Nagano. Harry Y. Nakahara. Margaret Chizuru Nakahara. Peter Minora Nakahara. Harold Hisao Nakamura. Shiro Nakaso. Alice Itatani Nishida. Kiyoshi Nishikawa. Hakuzo Nitta. Yoshiaki Noguchi. Yuli Kiyasu Nose. Gyo Obata. Konki Carl Oda. Carl K. Oike. James Kosaku Okada. Tetsuo Ted Osaki.
We're going to go out of order.
Susumu Winston Nakamura. I've got it here. Barry Minoru Saiki. Tom Ichiro Sakiyama. Minoru Sano. Takeshi Shiba. Mineto Shimizu. Miles Noboru Suda. David Kiyoshi Takahashi. Shigeharu Takahashi. Toichi Wallace Takiguchi. Chiaki Takizawa. Minoru Tamaki. Eru Tanabe.
Hold up for a second.
Toshiko Tekawa. Toshiko Teo. Please. Shiro Tokuno. That's Chiyo Nao Wada. Toshiko Tekawa. Mary Kikue Yamagata.
This is Mary. Mary Yamagata.
Martha Hayakawa Yamasaki. Grove Shinji Yoshiwara. Victor Hiroshi Abe. Samuel Tsuguo Yanagisawa. Did I miss anybody?
Yes, one person right there. She's going to say the name.
Edward Tanabe. I'm sorry? Errol Tanabe. Our great thanks to the family representatives for receiving their degrees on behalf of the honorees. I would now like to invite the honorees on stage, the students from Cal 1941 to 42. You're going to be going to them, right?
Did you say my line? Yeah. Right, okay. So now we will bestow the honorary degrees to the former students who are with us here today.
You're going to go right in. The first honoree is Louis Abe. Paul Asano. Florence Ikuko Date Smith. Hiromi Matsumoto Dai. Warren Eijima. Yasuko Fujita. Hiroshi Harada. Fred Mitsuru Hashimoto. Yoshiko Alice Machikawa Hieshima. Asaichi S. Hieshima. Tsuyu Abo Hiura. Joe Ikemiya. Frank Inami. Rose Nakako Sakemi Itano. Kiku Kato. Kojiro Francis Kawaguchi. Francis Kanji Kawahara. Yukio Kawamoto. Kimiko Fujii Kitayama. George Kiyoshi Kobayashi. George Matsumoto. Yoshio Matsumoto. Fusae Inoue Mitoma. Arthur Moray. Fumio Nishida. Our speaker today, Chizu Kitano Iyama. Theodore Kiyoshi Ono. Takeshi Sato. Bessie Matsuda Shiomura.
I'm behind you now.
Okay. Akira Suzuki. Masako Martha Nozawa Suzuki. Alice Matsui Takahashi. Motoyuki Takahashi. Koso Takemoto. Frank Yonekazu Tanaka. Yasu Tani. Asako Maeda Tokuno. Nagao John Tomita. Eiko Nakamizo Tomiyasu. Yuri Date Torigoe. James Noboru Yamasaki.
So you say thanks for being here and standing ovation.
Congratulations, all of you, and thank you so much for being here. Now is the time to confer the degrees to the class of 2009. Will the candidates for the PhD please come forward? The first is Juan Carlos Rejas. His dissertation is entitled Estimating Seismic Demands for Performance-Based Engineering of Buildings. And the chair of his dissertation committee is Professor Anil Chopra. And the second is Sahid Shahabuddin Misbahi, who is obtaining his PhD in Near Eastern Studies. The title of his dissertation is The Reception of the School of Ibn Arabi by Kubrawi Sufis.
Will you put his hood on put his hood on?
Okay.
Stand right here. Stand right here and stay.
Candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, you have voluntarily submitted yourself to the traditions that become the scholar in pursuit of knowledge and have proved yourself worthy of this high calling. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the President of the University of California, I hereby grant you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. We now wish to recognize our students who will receive their master's degrees. Will the candidates please come forward? And will the candidates please remain to my right to await the conferral of their degrees?
Kyle Wolf. Kayla Michelle Patton. Andrew Snyder.
Your turn. Confer their degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the President of the University of California, I grant you the degrees of Masters of Art and Master of Sciences. We now wish to recognize our students who will receive their bachelor's degrees. Will the candidates please come forward?
They give you the cards and you give them to me once you're done reading them.
And who's giving the degrees?
I am not sure.
But we're waiting for them.
Kathleen Flanagan.
April Chu.
Kevin Hong.
Ellen Lee.
Cindy Chong.
Carrie Lynn Arth.
Allison Rose Goodman.
Shoshana Jonet Raphael.
Jaleel H. Lord.
Sarah Charlotte Maricos.
Andrew Young.
Sarah Danielle Veth.
Robert Darnell Young.
Alexandra Whitney Jarsma.
Michael Sakota.
Catherine Louise Fink.
Jung Fu Lee.
Jacqueline de la Cruz Felipe.
Angela Kim Garland.
Gabriela Escalante.
Michael Charles Waldrop.
Jessica Fan Alcantar.
J. Patrick De Jesus.
Colin Scott Campbell.
Keith Thomas Yetter.
Stephen J. Polchinski.
Gregory G.
Brett William Livingston.
Amanda Cyrena Johnson.
Celine Fumie Stewart.
Anna Na Yi.
Jared Andrew Nemec.
Jonathan Edgar Bentley.
Mitchell Olson.
Paul Andrew Dyer.
Michelle Renee Fitzhugh.
Tara Sheridan.
Juan Ho.
Letitia Lara.
Rebecca Ann McLaughlin.
Taryn Allison Joswig.
Laura Tang.
Patrick Fye.
Sean Paul Cochran.
Yan Liang
Chin
Lee.
Chi Fan. Sophia Marie Arenio.
Peter Courier.
Flora Tsang.
Jayasari Soon
Catherine Roxanne Concepcion Balingit.
Ginny DeRusi.
Denise Christine Chandok.
Farhan Siddiqui.
Marcos Osegueda.
Maurice Sadiel Lyles.
Leslie Lopez.
Dante Candler.
Martha Chung.
Jacqueline Jachi Tong.
Emily Christine Lauer.
Jonathan Pong.
Carla Susanna Prado.
Mark Edward Averill.
Vanessa G. Pulido.
Allison Renee Cox.
Sandra Elizabeth Martinez.
Daniel Lee.
Erusmia Orantisas.
Elizabeth Garber.
Arnolfo Garcia.
Christine Mary Smith.
Mariana Jallo.
Elliot Michael Buchan Scales.
Alexandra Grisco.
Alex Golev.
Sonia Amoroso.
Benjamin Yuan.
Kevin Scott Fisher.
Ian Bannister.
Caitlin Joy Isherwood.
Marcus Rockwell Morrow.
Margaret Erin Blassingame.
Alicia Sedokina.
Carly Starr Comfort.
Evan Spencer Clark.
Karen Cortez.
Richard Nicholas Berardi.
Lisa Melissa Mayer.
Pedro Leitao.
Evan Patrick Grant.
Nathan Paul Lorenzen.
Jacob Michael Levy.
Jeffrey Lai.
Johanna Gabrielle Silver.
Jamshi Takahiro.
Jenra Patrice Garde.
Anthony Rolando Vargas.
Sandy Ngai.
Adriana Giselle Dibatici.
Diane Lucille Francisco.
Iris Michelle Esparza.
Justin Cho.
Desiree Tovar.
Cindy Lee.
Ashley Marie Carrick.
Adriana Yael Caireros.
Crystal Louise Ariza.
Lauren Nicole Woods.
Jenna Marie Perez.
Nicholas Scott Fradkin.
West Hayes.
Toshiko Chung Yi Shek.
Thomas Harrison Romaldo Pauli.
Michael Chan.
George to the Maxim Power Alberto.
Maggie Marie Coffin Barger.
Daniel Park.
Jacqueline Hyatt Daly.
Charles Lee.
Devin Marco Thomas.
Jose Mendoza.
Evan Thomas Atkinson.
Jack Gahia.
Diane Jinhuan Cho.
Nu Dong.
Vanessa Tamaru.
Thomas Allen Vitali.
Jason Martin.
Jaruma Joseph.
Doreen Block.
Vivian Nguyen.
Ty Vardi.
Brian Chow.
Sarul Bilek Artene Batar.
Nachiketa Mehta.
Navpreet Kaur Dillon.
Gregory Marek Piankowski.
Michael Martinez.
Amanda Lynn Bradshaw.
Jalene Votia.
Sachin Jain.
Katrina Mary Glaser.
Marcel Mohammed Makami.
Elizabeth Ann Miller.
Samson Vong.
Paul Nicho Liu.
Eric George Haugen.
Rachel Coleman Miller.
Jan Gui.
Megan Christine Vota.
Noah Whitfield.
Todd Michael Andrick.
Jonathan Noel Close.
Eric Stephen Michael.
Heather Marie French.
Michelle Azizi.
Samantha Nicole Lee.
Sarah Marie Delgadillo.
Deanna Christine Anderson.
Elizabeth Clara Marie Henkmeyer.
Peony Pat.
Karen Rachel Harrington.
Vicky Tan.
Susanna Keehyun Lee.
Alexandra Jolia Rutowski.
Sarah K. Sandu.
Lydia Hayong Ju.
Raymond John Fimbres III.
Diana Lucero Estrada.
Alexander T. Han.
David Songjae Cho.
Eileen Xiao.
Molly Rose Biarsi.
Wayne Wong.
Christopher James Wheatley.
Kenny Jung.
Victoria Michael Daluapane.
Oliver Lee.
Minyong Chang.
Jonghyun Lee.
Nenor Rose Demirjian.
Eric William Brinsmead.
Everett Samuel Keitler.
Stacy Lee Fong.
Christina Ting.
Sarah Cellular.
Josephine Yu.
William James Moser.
Stephanie Tang.
Athena Celeste Arias.
Michael Richard Moses.
Flavia Elva Garcia.
Nunette Wong.
Hyunglok Kim.
Leslie Cao.
Bumseok Cheng.
Sonia Kim.
Vinya Nam.
Stacy Lee.
Kendrick Jinhyung Park.
Linda Lin Chien.
Lillian Ni.
Kiri Inoue.
Yosub Kim.
Elizabeth Forma.
Hyosub Joe Lee.
Brian Christopher Holly.
Jitai Choi.
Justin Miguel Starks.
Taeyang Park.
Patrick Faulkner.
Elsie Alexandra DeFranco.
Tammy Lay.
Janet Seiden Frischberg.
Fong Timai Boy.
Kelsey Page Richardson.
Sunny Yang.
Martin Reed Sanchez.
Chris Marie Wolfenden.
Wendy Diana Johnston.
Laura Elizabeth Swain.
Joseph Daniel Grassick.
Seda Mohammed.
Jamie Amanda Baxter.
Katie Parker.
Jonathan Christian Rose.
Richard Zhang.
Lindsay Sarah Bird.
Camila Yuan.
Katie Cartwright.
Felicia Day Scott.
Ashley Gunderman.
Alexandria Elizabeth Jackson.
Ryan S. Hanlon.
Patricia Eileen Sullivan.
Todd J. Fitzgerald.
Alicia Roldan.
Christy Ivanova Espinoza.
Maxville Eric Weiss.
Misaki Catherine Masuda.
David Taki Choi.
Sean H. Jung.
Chun Tong.
Joy Yu.
Christopher James Thompson.
Bethany Marie Young.
Ian Gregory Will.
Ryan Taekung Lee.
Victor Rafael Olivas.
Andy Morito Tomatsu.
Jason Michael Gomez.
Natasha Daphne Brooks.
Kason Chai Bunthengwang.
Maxine Amanda Velazquez.
Daryl Garris.
Carla Ruiz Valesco.
Katie Lynn Forte.
Samuel Joseph Paul Rubin.
Jacob Sidikas.
Johanna Leone Langil.
Dayning.
Miriam Ann Morris.
Song Kwan Kim.
Amir Ahmed El Bodi.
Zach Reed Parcells.
Alan Wesley Peck.
Regina Gieler.
Laura Rowe Yee.
Timothy James Durkee.
Jessica Joan Shu.
Carson Van Gelder.
Deborah Kong.
Sonia Srevogic.
Rebecca Liu.
Misty Alexandra Smith.
Amy Yin Ng.
Catherine Lee Croats.
Andrew Duma Chung.
Amber Rose Hunt.
Veronica Grace Allegra Flores.
Teresa Chen.
Jose Luis Hernandez.
Sandy Liu.
Francisco Iglesias Granados.
Carl Marx Fernandez Santa Elena.
Jose Hector Machuca Rivera.
Mark Hans Posey.
Carlo Teano Baltazar.
Ashley Jean Shotwell.
Hai Van Lee.
Ashley Cassell.
Aaron Ryan Epperly.
Ann Elizabeth Meduzia.
Matt Holland.
Georgia Lynn Henley.
Cody Scott Stevens.
Victoria Greck.
Justin Lars Watson.
Maria Cecilia Coca.
Phoenix Lee.
Eleanor Wong.
Molly Alexandra James.
Jason Brett Hartman.
Lillian Elizabeth Kennedy.
Ada Jean Cheng.
Selena Krisheshian.
Charles Lee.
Elizabeth Millard.
Samson Koo.
Timothy Stephen Kelland.
Gabriel Keita Peng.
Matthew Von Hettich.
Alan Chen.
Connor Sean Anderson.
Wee Kwong Vu.
Michelle Morris.
Kelly Gawel.
Connor Daniel Dibble.
Zachary Solomus Miller.
Shane Barclay.
Solomon Miller.
Dana Lee.
Roland Anthony Terezon.
Andrea Lowe.
Kiana Saduji.
Carolina Beastway.
David Pratley West Russell. Peter Osbrink. Zachary Oselro. Monica Tumas. James Lee. Shoichi John Sakea. Ben Mo. Alex Bustamante. Margaret Ituj. Tien Yu Hu. Angelica Maria Espinola Romero.
No, first I have to give them the degree. By virtue, I have to say this before they get their degrees. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the President of the University of California, I grant you the degrees Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science. Congratulations, graduates. You may now move your tassels from the right to the left side on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Great. Now I welcome the Golden Overtones to the stage to sing Hail to California. And you may find the lyrics in your program. Please stand. Thank you, everyone. It's been a wonderful afternoon, and now it's my pleasure to invite the class of 2009 and their families to Alumni House, and the honorary degree recipients and their families to the club room for receptions. Congratulations, graduates, and go Bears!